Have you ever held a postcard from paradise and wondered, will this place still exist for my kids to see? Today, we're racing the clock. 7 countries whose landscapes, cultures, and very maps are under threat from rising seas, worsening storms, and disappearing coastlines. Some might lose swathes of land, others could become uninhabitable. And many of these places are already planning for a future where home may not be where it used to be. Let's dive in and find out which countries to visit before it's too late, and why the clock is ticking.
Number 7. The Netherlands. Rich, engineered, but not immune. The Netherlands is famous for its dikes, pumps, and world-class water engineering. And those defenses matter. However, rising seas and increased flood risk pose long-term questions about the cost and feasibility of protecting every coastline forever. The Dutch have led innovation in flood management, coastal engineering, and climate planning. But their experience is a reminder that even wealthy, technologically advanced nations must make hard choices about protection, retreat, and adaptation as the climate changes. For travelers, the Netherlands is a living classroom in how societies defend and redesign themselves around water. Number 6. Vietnam, Mekong Delta. The rice bowl under stress. The Mekong Delta feeds millions and supports rice, fisheries, and biodiversity. Sea level rise, upstream damming, and changing monsoon patterns are altering sediment flows and salinity, threatening agricultural productivity and the livelihoods of millions in southern Vietnam. Scientists warn that without major interventions, large tracts of the delta could be regularly flooded or salinized within decades. Travelers who come now will witness resilient delta communities, floating markets, and a vital ecosystem that's under intense pressure. This is less about a country vanishing and more about a key region transforming dramatically. Number 5. Bangladesh. Not an island nation, but a coastal giant at risk. When people think of climate-threatened places, they often picture small islands. But Bangladesh tells a different story. Tens of millions of people live on low-lying deltas. The Sundarbans and coastal districts face saltwater intrusion, stronger cyclones, and river erosion that could displace millions. Even if the country as a political entity doesn't disappear, entire communities could lose homes, farmland, and livelihoods, producing some of the largest climate migrations on Earth. Visiting Bangladesh now means seeing a complex culture and incredible landscapes that are already adapting in remarkable ways. Number 4. Marshall Islands. Low-lying atolls facing bigger storms. The Marshall Islands sit barely above the waves. Many atolls average around 2 meters in elevation. Rising seas increase the frequency of tidal flooding and storm surges that can wipe out crops, contaminate freshwater lenses, and damage infrastructure. NASA, regional scientists, and Marshallese leaders emphasize that while the ocean might not swallow every atoll immediately, progressively worsening conditions will make life harder and could force migration choices within decades. The Marshallese are fierce in their efforts to keep their culture alive, and they're an urgent reason to learn about how climate impacts real people. Number 3. The Maldives. Paradise with a very low ceiling. The Maldives is the picture postcard of white sands and turquoise lagoons, but its highest natural point is only a few meters above sea level. Scientists and UN experts repeatedly warn that sea level rise and groundwater salinization threaten tourism, fisheries, and freshwater supplies. The government invests in adaptation, from seawalls to artificial islands. But long-term scenarios still warn of severe impacts if global heating continues. For travelers, the Maldives offers one last look into coral reef ecosystems that are both breathtaking and fragile. Number 2. Kiribati. A nation spread thin across the ocean. Kiribati is made up of dozens of atolls and is visible on maps as tiny blue specks. Decades of scientific and political warnings have put Kiribati on countless at-risk lists. Leaders have spoken openly about relocation plans, land purchases abroad, and creative legal solutions to preserve national identity if the islands become uninhabitable.
While some atolls show surprising natural resilience, habitability, access to fresh water, arable soil, and protection from storms is the real concern. Visit Kiribati now to see a culture fighting to remain in place and shaping new ideas about sovereignty in a warming world. Number 1. Tuvalu, a tiny nation on the front line. Tuvalu is one of the world's smallest countries, just 9 coral atolls and about 10 square miles of land, and it's emblematic of the climate emergency. Locals and scientists warn that large parts of Tuvalu's capital and populated atolls could be regularly inundated by mid-century, and some projections suggest massive loss of habitability by 2100 if emissions stay high. Communities are already applying for climate migration visas and experimenting with land-building projects to buy time. This is not just a future story. It's happening now. What disappear actually means? A reality check. Before you pack your bag, here's the honest truth. For many of these places, disappear is not always literal in the next few years. Scientists use a range of scenarios, from modest warming to extreme cases, and outcomes depend on global emissions, local adaptation, coastal defenses, and natural island processes that sometimes add sand and shift coastlines. For small atolls, disappear often means a loss of habitability. No drinkable groundwater, frequent flooding, damaged infrastructure, which forces people to move. For larger countries, it means large regions and millions of lives being disrupted. The takeaway? The timeline is uncertain, but the risk is real and growing. These 7 countries show us different faces of the same crisis. Fragility in tiny atolls, pressure on huge deltas, and engineering triumphs that may still face limits. If you're moved by these places, visit, but go with curiosity, humility, and the intent to help. Take pictures, yes, but more importantly, take home stories that press for climate action where it matters, at policymaking tables and in the choices we make every day. These countries remind us how fragile and beautiful our planet really is. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more eye-opening travel and world stories, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you never miss an update. Drop a comment below. Which of these countries would you love to visit first? And why? Your thoughts could inspire our next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.